Welcome back to the Stonewood Funding podcast, where we bring you real stories, real solutions, and real financial relief for people waiting on their lawsuit settlements. I'm Laura Lee, and today we're diving into 3 powerful real-life stories of people who found themselves in financial crisis after an accident, wrongful termination, or medical malpractice, and how pre-settlement funding changed their lives. You might have heard that insurance companies are there to take care of you, but the truth is they delay, stall, and do everything they can to avoid paying what you deserve. And in the meantime, people like you are struggling with overdue rent and utilities, medical bills going to collections, lost income while unable to work. It's unfair, and it's why pre-settlement funding exists. It's not a loan. It's an advance on your future settlement, giving you the money you need now to pay your bills and survive without having to accept a low-ball settlement just because you're desperate. Today, we're going to share 3 real stories of people just like you who faced the same fears, the same financial struggles, and the same difficult choices. In these stories, we've changed the names and some details to protect privacy, but their struggles and victories are absolutely real. If you're struggling right now, wondering how you're going to make it while your case is still pending, stick with us, because this episode is for you. Olivia's fight against $1 billion insurance company. Our first story takes us to New York, where Olivia, a dedicated mother and restaurant worker, found herself in a nightmare after a serious car accident. It was a normal morning. Olivia was driving to work just like she had for the past 8 years. But as she passed through an intersection, a commercial delivery truck ran a red light, slamming into the driver's side of her car. The accident left Olivia with serious injuries. She had a fractured hip, a broken wrist, and a concussion that caused memory loss and migraines. Doctors told her she was going to need multiple surgeries and at least a year of physical therapy. But there was a problem. She was a server, which meant she had to be on her feet all day. And with those injuries, she couldn't work. So there was no income, no paycheck, no way to pay her bills. Her attorney assured her that she had a strong case against the trucking company. But lawsuits take time, and the trucking company's insurance lawyers immediately started to delay. Olivia was looking at a legal battle that could take up to 2 years, but she needed help now. Her landlord was threatening to evict her. Her medical bills were going into collection. She was running out of options. Then her attorney told her about pre-settlement funding. Olivia applied for pre-settlement funding with Stonewood Funding, and within 48 hours, she had the financial relief she needed. Instead of stressing over how she'd pay rent, she could focus on her recovery. Instead of taking the first low-ball settlement offer just to survive, she could wait for a fair payout. Her attorney fought hard for her case, knowing she wasn't financially desperate. And when her case finally settled, she received a payout 3 times higher than the initial offer. Ethan's battle with a wrongful termination. Next, we head to Illinois, where Ethan, a warehouse survivor, faced an unexpected financial crisis after being wrongfully fired. Ethan had worked for his company for almost a decade. He was hardworking, reliable, and always went the extra mile. But after he spoke up about an unsafe working condition, he found himself suddenly terminated without cause. His attorney discovered that his firing violated labor laws and that Ethan had a strong wrongful termination case. But here's the reality about employment lawsuits. They can take years. Ethan's savings gone. His mortgage past due. His credit cards maxed out. And because he had no paycheck coming in, he couldn't even qualify for a traditional loan. That's when his attorney recommended pre-settlement funding. Ethan applied for funding and it was approved in just 24 hours. The money allowed him to pay his mortgage, keep food on the table, and cover daily expenses while he fought for his case. Because he wasn't under any financial pressure, he was able to hold out for a fair settlement. When his case finally settled, he received significant compensation for lost wages, emotional distress, and punitive damages. Maya's fight for justice after a medical malpractice nightmare. Our final story takes us to Ohio, where Maya, a single mother, became a victim of a devastating medical mistake, one that turned her life upside down, leaving her unable to work. Drowning in medical debt and desperate for financial relief, what was supposed to be a simple, routine surgery ended in a nightmare of pain, suffering, and an endless legal battle. And the worst part, the hospital refused to take responsibility. Maya's story is about how pre-settlement funding gave her the strength to fight back and win. Maya was a hardworking single mother of 2. She juggled a full-time job while raising her kids, managing school drop-offs, soccer practices, and late-night homework help. She had always been healthy and active, but over the past few months, she'd been dealing with severe stomach pain. After seeing her doctor and running tests, she was told she needed a simple surgical procedure that would correct the issue. Her surgeon assured her it was low risk, a routine operation thousands of people undergo every year. They told her she'd be back on her feet in 2 weeks, but that's not what happened. Instead of waking up feeling better, Maya woke up in excruciating pain. At first, the doctors told her it was just normal post-surgery discomfort, and they gave her some medication. But she knew something wasn't right. Days passed, and her pain became unbearable. She couldn't eat. She couldn't stand upright. Every moment felt like a knife twisting inside her. She returned to the hospital, begging them to check her again. Finally, after insisting on more tests, they discovered the truth. Her surgeon had made a critical mistake. During the operation, they'd actually accidentally punctured her intestine and failed to notice. As a result, an infection had spread throughout her entire body and left her with severe complications. Maya was rushed into emergency surgery to correct the mistake, but the damage had already been done. She spent weeks in the hospital, undergoing more procedures to repair the damage. She was left with permanent digestive issues, chronic pain, and internal scarring. If that wasn't bad enough, the hospital's legal team denied all responsibility. Maya knew she had to hold the hospital accountable. She was a single mother. Her kids depended on her, but she couldn't work. She had no income, no savings, no way to support her family. The hospital's attorney dragged the case out for months, then years. They claimed her injuries were just complications from the surgery and not their fault. Her attorney warned her, "They're hoping you're going to get desperate and settle for less. But if you can hold out, we can win big." But how could she hold out when she couldn't even afford groceries for her children? Her rent was overdue. The medical bills were in collection. And that's when her attorney told her about pre-settlement funding. Maya applied for pre-settlement funding, and within just 24 hours, she had the money she needed to survive. For the first time since her surgery, she felt like she could breathe. With the money she received, she was able to pay her rent, avoid eviction, keep food on the table for her kids, afford her continued medical care. That included necessary treatments and therapy. And most importantly, she was able to keep fighting for justice. Because Maya wasn't financially desperate, she didn't have to take the hospital's low settlement offer. Instead, her attorney kept pushing. They uncovered more evidence of medical negligence, proving that the surgeon had ignored clear signs of complications for days. They took the case to court, and after a long, grueling battle, Maya won. She received a multi-million-dollar settlement, covering her medical expenses, lost wages, and future healthcare costs. Without pre-settlement funding, she would have been forced to settle for far less, just so she could survive. Instead, she held out, fought back, and won. Get the support you need while waiting for your settlement. Maya's story is a reminder that justice takes time, and if you're struggling financially while waiting for your settlement, you are not alone. Hospitals, insurance companies, and big corporations drag cases out on purpose because they know most people can't afford to wait. But you can fight back. You can get through this, and you don't have to accept less than you deserve. Pre-settlement funding can help. If you're in the middle of a lawsuit and feeling the pressure of medical bills, rent, and daily expenses, Stonewood Funding is here for you. No credit checks, no monthly payments, no repayment if you lose your case. Visit stonewoodfunding.com to see how we can help you today. Even if you're not sure if pre-settlement funding is right for you, reach out to us. Our team is here to answer your questions. We'll help you understand your options and give you the financial stability you need to fight for what's right. Don't let financial stress force you into a bad settlement. Get the support you need today.